The Boston Celtics might be holding a ticking time bomb, and no one's asking why. Anfernee Simons, the newest name tied to the Celtics' offseason chessboard, isn't just a trade piece or cap space tool. He's a wild card, a 26 bucket getter. With a $27.7 million expiring contract and a resume built on explosive scoring nights, Simons should be a core piece, right? So why is Boston already actively open to moving him before he even puts on the jersey? This isn't just about roster fit or salary cap gymnastics. It's about timing, leverage, and championship urgency. The Celtics are not calling teams nonstop trying to dump Simons, but league insiders are whispering the same thing. Boston's not sold on keeping him around, not because he isn't talented, but because the clock is ticking on something bigger. This front office isn't standing still after Banner 18. They're playing a long game that might shake the East before the season tips off. Simons, who quietly averaged 19.3 points last season on nearly 43% shooting, brings far more to the table than just spacing and athleticism. He can handle, create, and close games. But he's also never tasted a deep playoff run. That matters in Boston. This franchise knows exactly how tight the margin for error is when you're chasing banners. And sometimes that means making hard cuts early rather than hesitating later. The real question isn't if Simons will stay. It's what Boston can. Flip him into a defensive wing, a veteran with playoff scars, another draft asset for future flexibility. Georges Niang, also reportedly being shopped, could be part of a bigger puzzle no one solved yet, and the silence from the Celtics. Front office might not be indecision, it might be patience. Don't be fooled by the calm. Something is brewing behind closed doors. The Celtics aren't just protecting cap space, they're building optionality. And if the right opportunity lands on Brad Stevens' desk, Simons might not even make it to media day in a green HOODIE. So, why bring him in at all? Why take the risk? That's what makes this so intriguing. Because maybe, just maybe, Boston already knows exactly what it's doing. Jason Tatum's Achilles recovery just changed everything, and almost no one's. Talking about it, Jason Tatum isn't just rehabbing an injury, he's rewriting the future of the Boston Celtics in complete silence. What looked like a devastating blow to the franchise, a torn Achilles suffered during the brutal playoff clash with the Knicks, is now turning into one of the most pivotal behind-the-scenes storylines of the entire NBA offseason. And if you're only watching the headlines, you're already missing it. Most fans assume an Achilles tear is a death sentence for a star's explosiveness, especially at 27, when the physical peak begins to tilt. But Tatum, obsessed with the microscopic margins that define greatness, did something most superstars don't. He stayed. He didn't flee to a tropical rehab hideout or disappear into the shadows. For 50 consecutive days, Tatum remained in Boston, locked into recovery mode under the eyes of team officials, medical staff, and most importantly, Brad Stevens. It wasn't just a commitment to healing, it was a declaration of intent. Stevens, speaking during a Summer League broadcast, hinted at something deeper. Tatum isn't just progressing well, he's competing in his rehab with the same intensity he brings to Game 7 South. He's attacking the process like it's a finals series. That mindset, combined with immediate surgery and non-stop presence in team facilities, suggests the Celtics aren't preparing for a lost year, they're preparing for a comeback no one is truly ready for. Yes, the roster has shifted. Drew Holiday is gone, Porzingis out. Depth chart scrambled. But these weren't random losses. They were part of a broader realignment, a calculated retreat to rearm. The Celtics aren't panicking, they're planning. With cap space flexibility in sight and a long-term view that stretches into the 2026 offseason, Boston is carefully stacking chess pieces while the rest of the league plays checkers. Meanwhile, Tatum is quietly evolving into something bigger than a franchise player. He's becoming the cornerstone of a reimagined dynasty, not just because of his skill set, but because of what he's showing behind closed doors. Resilience, discipline, leadership when no one's watching. Most of the NBA world has already moved on, talking about blockbuster trades and rookie standouts. But if you look a little closer, you'll see a different kind of headline forming in Boston. Not one made of hype, but of grit. The question isn't if Jason Tatum will return to form. The question is whether the league is even remotely prepared for what he's about to unleash. And if you're a Celtics fan, don't look at this season as a lost cause. Look at it as the quiet storm before the resurgence. According to a key insider, one of the Celtics' newly acquired guards, who hasn't even suited up in green and white, is already... Why would Boston consider trading someone before even seeing him on the floor? What are they really planning? That's the kind of move that only makes sense if something bigger is brewing beneath the surface. At the center of it all is Brad Stevens, who isn't sitting back after a finals run. He's actively reshaping this roster with the precision. One name keeps popping up behind closed doors: Jaylen Brown. And this isn't the same Brown who played second fiddle for years. Not just a co-star, but a franchise face capable of carrying the load while Jason Tatum recovers from his injury, which remains without. But Boston isn't most teams. The front office is betting big, not just on its stars, but on the depth, versatility, and hunger of a roster that has been quietly rearmed. There are names that haven't hit the headlines yet, but internally, the Celtics are buzzing about something that doesn't quite fit into the usual offseason script. Moves are being made that only make sense when you look at the bigger picture, one that could end with another banner being raised in TD Garden. Keep watching. The Celtics aren't done yet. There was no spotlight, no media hype, no interviews, just a quiet entrance into the Summer League. And then, out of nowhere, a performance that might have changed a career. Miles Norris wasn't supposed to be the headline. Hell, he wasn't even supposed to be in the conversation. With all eyes glued to first-round pick Hugo Gonzalez and the promising returns of Jordan Walsh and Baylor Sherman, Norris was just another name on the roster, a two-way contract guy, a depth piece, a placeholder. But something shifted on that Las Vegas court. Coming off the bench, Norris didn't just fill minutes, he disrupted plays, found open gaps like a seasoned vet, and hit shots with a calm that didn't belong to someone supposedly fighting for relevance. He logged 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and a block in 21 minutes. But if you only look at the box score, you've already missed the story. The impact wasn't in the numbers. It was in the rhythm he brought, the defensive urgency, the effortless shooting motion, the way he seemed to understand space without needing the ball. In his hands, there's a reason Joe Mazzola's system thrives on movement, spacing, and fast decision-making. And there's a reason Norris suddenly doesn't look out of place in it. You might think this is another Summer League overreaction, but is it? Norris didn't just appear out of the blue, he's been lurking. Boston quietly signed him back in March after cutting ties with Anton Watson. No fanfare, no statement, just a strategic switch. And while Norris only touched the NBA hardwood 3 times late last season, he was doing damage in Maine. In the G League, he averaged nearly 15 points a night while shooting just under 40% from deep, a number that isn't just good. It's elite for his role. He's 25, but not raw. He's athletic, but not reckless. He fouled 5 times in his debut, yes, but those fouls came from trying to do too much, not from checking out. There's a difference in that intensity. It's exactly what Boston needs from the end of the bench when playoff minutes turn into war zones. Now, here's the real twist. With Jason Tatum sidelined indefinitely, the rotation is no longer written in stone. There's a crack in the door, and Miles Norris might be bold enough to kick it open. You don't need to be a superstar to matter in Boston. You just need to understand the moment when it comes, and it's starting to feel like Miles Norris does.